What's up, everybody?
What?
Welcome in or welcome back to this episode of Semi Pro, and we back.
And we back.
And
And
we
we
back.
back.
We're here today. We're talking about Captain America 1990. It's gonna be whatever. I don't care anymore.
This movie. Movies. Immediately.
And we're back. God,
Yeah.
I forgot. I've forgotten how to do all of this. I don't remember a lick of what we're doing here.
What are we doing here?
The podcast that we do from time to time.
Oh, I thought you meant like just like life. Thought you knew something I didn't.
I don't know anything. I do know this, actually. We watched Captain America 1990.
Right. Right. Which is a movie. Believe it or not, or
Certainly.
tries to be at
Certainly
least.
attempts movie type aspects. I don't know
Yeah,
that I'd
certainly
call it a
was-
movie, though.
It was a production that was intended to be released theatrically as a film, and was one of if not the best, I don't remember the exact quote, but one of or the best script ever read by legendary actor Ronald Cox.
Was it Ronald or like Rory or something? Roy? Was it
It was
Ronald?
yeah, it was I don't know. It was I know whatever it was his middle name. His first name was Daniel, like me. But
right.
he's been in movies. He was some scumbag in RoboCop, probably some other scumbag in Total Recall, other things also.
And it was...
And President Jimothy Carter in Captain America
Right.
1990.
What was his
except
name,
not
actually?
Tom like Webster or something. like webbing or whodunit or some shit
Was
like
his
that.
name Whodunit?
Probably not that, but I feel like it was a W and like a I don't know. It was like a sounding name. It was like a name sounding name.
It was one of those names. Tom Kimball.
Yeah. See, I Kibble. I called him Kibble.
Right, like
First
the
name
dog
Dog.
food. Right,
Yeah.
right. And
President Kibble. First name Dog.
the actor's name is Ronnie Cox,
Yeah.
which is a
Ronald.
funny name.
Right.
He was in lots of things. He was in RoboCop as Dick Jones.
Dougie Jones.
I vaguely remember him from RoboCop. I'm pretty sure he's...
Yeah,
I'm
he
pretty
was
sure
definitely like
he's,
some
like,
like
the
scummy guy. Yeah.
Pretty sure he's like the Robo. He's
He's
not
the
the
guy.
RoboCop, but he's like
Right,
the
but he's
RoboCop
the
guy.
yeah.
So we watched Captain America 1990. It's bad. We'll give our consensus at the end of the movie
Yeah.
from this.
Yeah.
I want to talk about positives for a minute or two.
For exactly a minute is what we'll spend
It will
on
take
positive.
no time at all to talk about
Yeah.
positives from Captain America 1990.
Well, the
Yes.
I guess
Yes.
I guess the costume kind of
Costumes-
costume kind of it's Red Skull design is the easy obvious one that
Red
we
Skull
both
design is
commented
cracked.
on how very cool it was. It's like it looks like a cracked, scarred kind of skull. It's sick, and then they only use it briefly.
They
and then
use it for like 45 seconds, and then
it's only in the opening. It's like the opening. I think 20 minutes take place in the 40s, and then it's on to future, which is really the past now because it's the 90s.
right. This movie takes place 34 years ago.
Fuck. Yeah.
34 years ago is when this movie takes place. This movie was closer to the time of your birth, or at least my birth, than now is.
Yeah.
So think about
That's
that.
true for both of us, I believe.
Lick
Yeah,
on that,
it was 11,
you know?
11 years before I was born. It was half the time between.
It was 9 years before I was born.
It was half the time before my birth of the time since my birth. That sentence was nonsense. Called out a non-sentence for shit.
So the movie happens.
Fuck.
I will also say this as a positive. I did enjoy the idea. I enjoy the idea of Captain America. Like, I liked them just kind of jumping straight
I
into it.
do also enjoy the idea of Captain America. It's a
Right,
cool.
it's awesome.
It brings out the patriot in me. You know, it makes me love my country.
Captain America does make me feel more patriotic, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But no, I like the idea of like they just jump into it. They're like, we're not wasting any of this time. None of this Superman stuff where we see him as a teenager.
Right.
None of this
Who cares
stuff.
Who cares
with
about
Krypton.
that? No. We establish that he exists. He has polio.
Yes, polio.
He's gonna be codename Captain America.
But we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Right? Are we not? Sorry.
I mean, we're close. We're edging, but we're not there yet.
Cool. Yeah, I always am.
But yeah, so it's like it's this. I want to go in detail about codename Captain America, and we'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
But like, yeah, so it's just this idea of. Like, we're just jumping straight into it. The first 4 minutes are the Red Skull's origin story. The next 6 are Captain America's origin story. Now he's on a plane ready to fight Nazis. 11 minutes. We checked the time. It was 11 minutes, and he was on his first mission as Captain America. Now, at that point, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then the rest of the movie happens, and he's not Captain America for most of it.
Yeah.
And he's really not Captain America even when he is Captain America.
Yeah, he's barely ever Captain America.
There's a few scenes where he punches somebody, but there's a lot of scenes where he wears a costume.
He throws his shield a decent amount.
Right?
His shield is really stupid looking. It looks like
so
plastic
dumb.
garbage.
Yeah.
It usually looks stupid when he throws it because it like doesn't really show it, except for the one time where he throws it really weird. But it's awesome. Like, but we'll get to that.
He like barrel rolls his shield.
Yeah, it's very strange. It happens in the end. We'll get to it. We'll spend 20 minutes talking about there.
So the movie opens in Italy. Right, with this little Italian.
We don't know this at the time. We should be able to recognize Italian.
I'm sure it said.
I'm pretty sure it just said 1936. I could be wrong.
It could have given a city, and we just with our American brains.
I just don't know. Yeah, it could have said like Sicily. It could have said Rome. It did say Rome at one point. I remember pointing at the screen and saying, "Oh, this takes place in Rome." By the way,
it just says Italy. Like that's it. It just point blank says Italy, and we still don't get it. No, but no. So we open in Italy, and there's this little kid, and he's really good at the piano, and his parents are like, which is Italian for he's a protege. He's a great whatever pianist.
He's got a really good penis.
And then this is a child. You want to take it back?
What? I'm saying the same thing. Good. He's he's a very good pianist.
And then Mussolini's boys break in, and so they take him. And when they take this little kid, they take him somewhere, and then you just hear screams, and this woman escapes.
They give him a funny. It was
we forgot about the rat.
Italian German man from the. They had a Red Skull rat that they
call that Rat Skull.
That was like their first test subject successfully for the Red Skull super soldier serum that would eventually be the Captain America super soldier serum, presumably if it's like Captain America the First Avenger, the movie.
It is. They say something like that, and that's why
Red
Skull keeps saying like, "You're my little brother" or something.
Right, and also not German, Italian lady is the scientist on both of them.
Right. So she escapes. And then we cut to California, aka home of the polio.
California, yeah.
And we see Steve Rogers. It's our first introduction to Steve Rogers. He looks horrible. Yeah. He sounds horrible. He's hobbling around.
He talks like a bitch. He walks like a bitch, but that's the polio's fault, not his.
Not his. He's ugly.
He just kind of looks like a bitch. Like he's just a little bitch.
No disrespect to Matt Sandlinger, who's never been in anything ever.
I'm gonna say I am disrespecting him a little bit, because he
Actually, that's
kind
not
of
true.
sucks ass.
He was in a movie in 2021 with Liam Neeson called The Ice Road.
Ah,
He was in a few episodes of House.
isn't that like the fake movie from the end of Daddy's Home 2?
You would think so.
I would, because it was something very much like that. It was like,
Yeah, it was something about ice, and it was starring Liam
right, and it was
Neeson.
Liam Neeson. Yeah.
He really thought this was going to be his breakout role. Too
Yo.
bad he's ugly, and so that just didn't happen for him. And I feel bad,
Yeah,
but
we learned doing some research that was it Dolph Lundgren and Arnold Schwarzenegger were both up
which is
for
so
this
crazy to
role.
me. Like I
Arnold
don't.
only lost out because of his accent, which makes sense, but also would have been almost a quirky because they were changing Red Skull's thing for seemingly no reason, making him like an Italian mob boss
Right.
piano protege. Um, like it could have been something weird, making I don't know how they would have done it, and also making him like this all American man, but having him be
Austrian.
like an
Yeah, well, that's what
immigrant
they
or
did. They did
something.
that in Jingle All the Way, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger's
Right,
supposed to be this like
right.
all American dad, whatever, but
Yeah,
he's just Arnold, and he's like, I
yeah,
son a bunch of the toy, but he's supposed to
right.
be just like this like loving suburban
Yeah.
dad. That would have been great for this.
Yeah, but then Dolph Lundgren was I guess filming The Punisher, which I thought
Well, the
that
Punisher
was
came out in '89.
right because this was because there was that like year or two delay
Right.
on
So this was
this because they
supposed to come
reshot
out in
it and shit.
1990. So anytime you read about this, it's called Captain America 1990 because that's the year it was
Hmm.
supposed to be released. It wound up it was supposed to release theatrically in 1990 for like the 100th anniversary or 70th anniversary of Captain America, whatever.
I think it was 50th, but yeah.
Whatever. An anniversary
Mhm.
of Captain America. It was supposed to come out for
Right.
that. And then it got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and wound up never releasing theatrically. It went
Yeah, just push
straight.
straight to schlock.
Yes, like 3 or 4 years later, came straight to like home release on
Mhm.
some TV network.
Yeah.
And when that happened, then it was pirated. So somebody recorded it, and it was one of those things that like early Comic-Con days type whatever. They would sell copies of this movie at Comic-Con that were pirated. Same thing they did with like um
Like
the
the Fantastic Four movie, I think was like that. Like it
yeah,
was
same idea until it finally got an official release in like 2004 or 5, something like that. It got like an official like
really
it's released. And now it's on YouTube. So just go
you
and
just for free.
yeah,
Yeah.
just go watch this on YouTube and you'll have a great time. No, don't.
You won't. You
We'll
won't.
get
What you
there.
could watch on YouTube though is I found this last night. There's a clean version of The Room, which is that it cuts out all the super weird, awkward, uncomfortable sex scenes, of which there
Mm,
are a lot of.
there's
And
like
it actually
4.
makes it yeah, it actually makes The Room like somewhat enjoyable to watch as a funny bad movie instead of just being weird and
Hey
uncomfortable.
man, I like The Room.
I like it. It's just the sex scenes are so weird that it makes me not want to watch it as a funny bad movie with my friends. But that exists on YouTube. Look up The Room Clean. You can watch that instead of watching Captain America 1990. Or don't. Or watch any good movie. Watch Captain America: The First Avenger.
Watch the first
That
Avenger,
movie's
man. That's
okay.
all I can say. When it comes to
Yeah.
like, should you watch this movie? And we're not there yet. We'll get there. But when it comes
Are we
to,
not there yet?
nah, we're at the
Where are we?
beginning.
Ooh.
We started the plot, and that's as far as we've gotten. I'll save that for the end. So Steve Rogers, he gets his thing. They take him to a lab, and at first I'm like, wow, this is a horrible set.
Yeah, wow, this looks. You said this looks shit as it's like just a stairwell,
I think
which
I said
admittedly
something
it
like
did
like
look
the
shit.
stairwell looked horrible, and I was like, wow, I love all the money that the
I was
U.S.
like, wow, yeah,
government's got.
sick lab.
And
Yeah,
then
and
it
then
cuts, and
it
it's
like
a
opens
cool
up, and
lab.
it's a decent little
It's not as good as the first
underground
Avengers lab,
secret lab.
but
But that was like 20 years later,
right.
so
It was not only 20 years later, but also triple the
a
budget.
real movie.
Like it was a
Yeah.
real movie. Well, although I say that, right? I say that one's a real movie.
This was made as a
This
real
was
movie. Yeah.
yes, it wasn't released as a real movie, but it was made
But
as
it
a real
yeah.
movie. So I'm gonna hold it to the standard of it was a real movie.
With the best script ever read by Ronald Daniel Cox.
Yeah,
Not necessarily
the
in that
guy who
order.
was in both RoboCop
The
and
man who
Total
the man who
Recall
roboed the cop.
and totally
The cop would the
recalled it.
cop the cop would not have been roboed if not for him.
And he
Arnold
told
would not have been totally recalled if not for him.
right, not for this guy. Neither, and he said this was the best script he's ever read. And then turned around and said, "I don't know how they messed it up that bad," which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he goes in there and they flash him with some like electrical lights.
They
Whatever.
just they zap him. They give him some electroshock therapy.
Yes, straight up, just normal old electroshock therapy. They electroshock him back. He's back, and now he doesn't have polio anymore. They show
it shows his muscles growing.
yeah, they show like his muscles expanding, but it's like a balloon with paper mache
right,
on
and
it.
then he obviously just looks the same.
Looks exactly the same.
The same
And
man.
we talked about this, and there's another thing later on. So he has a girlfriend back in the past that we didn't talk about. I can't remember what her name is.
Not Peggy Carter. It was like
Peggy
Betsy
Carter.
or something.
Yeah, it was like Bruce. It was a dude's name.
Barney. It was Barney.
It was Barney. Yeah. So like she is in the movie later on for a very short amount of time, but she's got this old woman makeup on and it looks horrible.
It's very bad, and it made even funnier by it shows like her husband who's just an actual old man actor, and it's so funny.
What they should have done is they should have cast a small, weak, little frail guy who looks vaguely like our main actor to be Steve Rogers, and cast an old woman in this role as the old woman.
Right. See, I disagreed, and I said they should have Tobey Maguired it and had him actually get all skinny and frail, and or at least a little bit. Maybe, but if, instead of, because he wasn't super jacked in this movie, like they could have had him just like go on a cleanse, maybe
Right.
do something,
lose
a little weight,
yes,
and then that like they film the polio stuff, then they have him get superhero training jacked. Then they film him as Captain America.
I think you could do something over the course of like. You could do something, right? You could do anything.
Is the thing
instead of making him walk with a slight limp? That's all they did. He walked with a very slight limp. Like, you could have done anything. I think cast another kid or make him go on a diet.
Right. Either one would have been better than what they did,
which
was
is nothing.
Change him nothing. Yeah.
They put some makeup on him. They put some makeup on him to make him look pale.
He looked, kind of sickly.
Kind of, a little sickly. But yeah, so anyway, he gets out of the chair and he's all Captain America now, and he stands up straight when he's been slumping the whole time.
Right.
And yeah, so now he's Captain America, and then it's hard cut. Yes. Like it's no, the German doctor gets shot.
Then it's some guy.
Not
German doctor. Some guy pulls out a gun, and goes Heil Hitler.
No, he doesn't even pull out a gun. Some guy goes to like shake his hand to celebrate, and then he just throws up the Hitler salute.
He definitely had the gun because he shot.
Well, he pulled a gun
not German doctor
but
lady.
At first it's all in one spell swoop. It's like he goes in for a handshake into the Hitler salute. And
I must have missed that.
It was awesome. There's a lot of little moments like that are very funny in this.
Right. So he shoots Dr. Lady and maybe some other scientist.
Somebody, and he shoots Steve Rogers.
Shoots Steve Rogers.
I forgot about this.
2 or 3 times. One of them just like straight through the chest and out his back.
You see like the squib in his back explode. Yeah. Like this bullet went straight through him.
Yeah, and then it shows him like hard cut to him in the hospital.
Yeah, well, the doctor says something. She's like, "Go get him."
She's like, "Yeah, be the hero, be codename Captain America."
Oh, we forgot about that. Yeah, they're talking about.
Actually, she says, "Be a codename of Captain America," because she's not German, she's Italian, like Red Skull.
One person's like, "Well, what's this kid's name? He's a little polio baby," and like, then
no one's supposed to know. It's not Tommy Lee Jones. He's like, no one knows his real name, but he's the best candidate. All you know him as is codename Captain America.
Which is so stupid.
Actually, he says, all you know him as codename Captain America.
Codename Captain America. And then, so he gets shot through the back, and then the Italian doctor gives him the speech that the guy gives Steve Rogers in
Gives
the
him
first Captain America.
the German scientist speech.
He's like, don't
Except
go.
without any significance, because it didn't establish them as having like a like mentoree relationship. It didn't have any sort of chemistry between them. It just happened.
Which is
but
the
it's
theme of
fine.
this movie. They didn't
Right.
establish anything.
Yeah.
It just happens.
The theme of this movie is that it's not as good as the first Avenger.
The theme of this movie is go watch the first Avenger. You know, like
Right.
that's just, and that's what it made me want to do, because I'd love, like
Yeah.
we talked about this a little bit.
I don't even love the first Avenger. Like I think it's okay. I think it's solid. I think it's fine. But this movie does make me want to watch the first Avenger just because I want to see a good Captain America movie.
Like in World War II, because this
Right,
movie
yeah.
really teases you with that, because like he's in the hospital, and the general Tommy Lee Jones is like, we need this man better in 2 days, because if he's not better in 2 days, we're gonna lose the war and the Nazis are gonna win. And the doctor's like,
Right.
Sir, that's impossible.
There's
that's
no way
not,
he can
we
recover
can't."
in 2 days.
And then it
it
pans
just-
over, and he's standing there.
and
He's like,
just standing
General,
up. General, what are my orders?
what am I gonna do? And then
And then it's cut to him on a plane with
was so goofy.
he's got it's so silly. He's just got like his like military like outfit, and then you can just see his stupid looking Captain America mask
With his
underneath
fake
with
ear.
his goddamn rubber ears. Yeah.
And it's like and they did this.
and
First
and why
Avenger
did
did
they-
this, dude.
Right, but real quick, why did they have him in that military? Like, not it wasn't just the helmet, because you commented on the helmet.
Oh no,
But,
he's
like,
in
he had
full.
the helmet, full military gear.
Once again, it's
and then
the thing-
immediately once he's on the ground in combat, he's just in the Captain America
Yeah,
costume.
no. So he's wearing it underneath. It's the same thing First Avenger did, right? First Avenger had him.
It
He's
was
wearing
cool.
a
It was
stage
like-
costume, right? So it's
Right,
not meant for battle.
which is a thing they explained in First Avenger,
they
and then giving him
explain
combat
it.
gear over it, and it's cool. But we're not just going to talk about First Avenger. We're going
And
to
he's
talk
got
about
that
this
helmet.
movie.
He grabs that helmet
got
that's
this
got the A on it, because
yeah.
it's like the USA girls, and she's the A, so he's got the
Right.
helmet. But in this movie, it's a fireproof costume. He never interacts with any fire in it. But it's
No,
a
I don't know why
fireproof
it's
costume.
that.
It's a fireproof costume, and he's wearing it underneath like a jacket. And I don't think pants. We never see his legs, but it's just
Yeah,
a jacket and a helmet.
Right.
And so he jumps out of this plane, and it cuts to stock footage of a man parachuting. And then he's during the middle of the day. It's nighttime. He's parachuting during the day. Lands on the ground, and then takes the helmet off instantly. Unwraps his shield from the wrapping it's in, and then there's like a dun 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 dun.
Right. It's the Captain America, the First Avenger music, but a little more generic.
But a little worse. It feels like
Yeah.
something that the news would play during election season.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, he unwraps his shield, he goes in, and then he takes the jacket off, and it's like, okay,
Why was he wearing that?
I would assume the reason is because there was a comic in which Captain America's origin had him wearing that.
Well, sure, yeah,
But then what First Avenger did that this movie didn't do is give that
was
a
anything
purpose.
was anything. It
was make a
it was
movie.
literally anything. Yeah.
But yeah, so he goes in and he fights Red Skull. And keep in mind, this is Captain America's first mission. He even says on the ship, he's like, "When do I get my
like, yeah,
battalion? When do I get? Yeah, this is my first mission. I haven't been trained. When
It's
do
like,
I get my battalion?"
I have done nothing. All you guys did was zap me with
Was
some
zap me with
electricity, and then
electricity
I
and
got
let me
shot
get
a couple
shot.
times. Yeah.
And then yeah, so he
It's
busts
like,
in.
hey, don't worry about it, kid. You'll be fine.
Don't worry about it. You'll be fine, buddy. And yeah, so he goes in and he starts to fight Red Skull, and Red Skull looks awesome. Other than the fact that he's got a
it
normal
looks
nose,
so
which everybody
cool.
like
Which is-
talks about or
it's-
whatever, but it was
It's
1990.
right? Like, how were they gonna do that?
Yeah, you can't remove a nose. There's no CGI yet.
Yeah,
I guess they
it
did
was-
it for Masters of the Universe, which came out around this time.
Yeah, sure, but whatever.
It's Captain America. He was in it for a minute.
Yeah, it looked cool enough that I can look past the him having a nose when he shouldn't, because it was cool. Like he looks like a skull and is like cracked, but also with scars. It's fucking sick, man.
It looked cool enough
yeah.
where he should have been in it for the whole movie. but he wasn't.
Absolutely, yeah. But instead, it's the same design, but just on the actor's
Which I would
face.
assume probably took less time and
Yeah,
makeup
I'm
or
I'm
whatever.
sure it's like, yeah,
And he had those sick
it's
white
cheaper and it's better
contacts.
for the actor. Yeah,
That
they
was
should have
they.
at least kept those.
Yeah, for sure. But
That would have been
anyway,
cool.
who knows? I think they make some kind of line about plastic surgery or something.
There's like a one-off thing. This whole movie's
Um,
a one-off thing.
so Captain America and Red Skull, they have this like they duke it out, whatever. It's a horrible fight, and then Captain
Yeah.
America gets hit in the head, right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
He
I think
passes out
he gets
somehow.
knocked out and then tied to a fucking missile.
Point being, Captain America is horrible at being Captain America.
Right, which is fine because it's his first mission,
Right.
sure.
It just
But
like well, anyway, so he's on the rocket. Red Skull has to cut his own arm off because Captain America's holding his hand so tightly that he can't, like, he's gonna take off with him.
right.
So Red Skull cuts his arm off. This rocket is headed straight for the White House, and it's about to blow up whoever was president at this time. As he's on his way, this little boy's arguing with his parents about how he doesn't want to move to Ohio because he loves Washington, D.C., and he walks outside and sees this rocket coming for the White House. When
Yeah, and he's got a little camera with him.
he's got this little like film camera, and he zooms in all the way and takes a perfect profile picture of Captain America,
Yeah,
who is
Captain
facing
America,
towards the sky.
who is strapped on the other side of the rocket, facing directly up.
Who also then is able to kick this missile
Yeah,
so hard that he moves the trajectory from Washington, D.C. to Alaska, where he then crashes.
I mean, easy. Well, yeah, he crashes and then freezes to
And then
be
he freezes,
found
yeah.
50 years later.
I was going to say something a minute ago, but now I can't remember because I was like, but anyway, I don't remember what
Yeah,
it was
it's
about.
probably nothing important.
Oh, it was the
it-
montage thing. I want to talk about the montage thing.
Oh yeah,
The thing I think this movie's missing, once again, something that First Avenger did that this movie doesn't, is something to establish Captain America as Captain America before this mission with Red Skull. Where
I
it's
mean,
like,
I think yes, and no. Like I think it wouldn't have changed much, and also it would have made him, because he's kind of a fucking idiot. Like, he sucks at
he
being
does suck for
Captain
sure.
America, which is like it's stupid because I don't want Captain America to be a little bitch, but it sort of makes sense in context because he's untrained. He went on one mission, it failed, and now this is his redemption, I guess. But I don't know. Like, I think if you show the montage, then it's like, okay, it's established he's this war hero. He's Captain America,
I
and
just
then
think-
why does why is the only thing he can do in the future steal fucking cars?
I would have loved to have seen some
I
sort of
definitely agree.
oh,
Like, I would have loved to see actual Captain America stuff in this Captain America movie. Absolutely.
I just wanted to see him succeed somehow. Like, I wanted to see him
Yeah.
do something and succeed so that I could be like, oh, this is Captain America. I'm on his side. I want him to win.
I want to feel that, like, that Captain America, Superman making me feel patriotic feeling that I don't.
And
really
I
get
don't.
from this
I feel
movie.
it none in this movie at all.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is my biggest issue. Is it's like I never once feel like I like this guy. I never feel like he is Captain America. I never feel like he's capable of doing anything other than pretending to be sick and stealing cars. And I think that would have been fixed. Even if he fails throughout the whole movie, it would have been fixed by having this, like, oh, he's taking out Nazis, he's doing all of these
Right.
things, like, he's taking out Hydra bases, or whatever. Having that
doing
little bit...
something, being Captain America.
It's the first Spider-Man thing, right? They do this in Spider-Man 1, which is a way better movie than this. Watch that instead. Like, they've got that.
Man, hot take. Spider-Man 1 is better than direct to DVD fucking Captain America 90.
I think like that movie's got the thing. He gets bit by a spider, and then you see the montage, and everybody in the city's like, "Oh, he stinks, and I don't like him." Or she's like,
a guy with 8 arms. I think that's kind of
"It's kind of hot.
hot.
He's got ropes from his hands. He climbs up the ropes. He's a freak show. He's a wackadoo." You know, like it's got all the New
Right.
York stuff, and then but through that you see him stopping crime. You see him hanging
There's the
burglars in
montage.
webs.
He's doing Spider-Man stuff.
He does the webs
yeah.
between the Twin Towers, like.
Right.
You see him do all of these things, and then he fails the rest of the movie until the very end. And that little one scene lets you know, oh, he can do this, so that when he starts failing in his fights against the Goblin, you're not like, oh, this guy is completely
This
inept.
guy, there's no way he can do this. He has never succeeded at anything. This guy's gonna fucking die.
And so, like, it would not have
Yeah.
fixed the movie at all, but it would have helped a lot, I think, in terms of just
Right.
Captain America's likability.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
Instead, he goes on his first mission, gets strapped to a rocket, lands in Alaska, and freezes. And so,
Yeah, and cuts off Red Skull's hand, which
Red
they
Skull
never
cuts off his own
do
hand.
anything. Right, yeah, because Red Skull grabs him and cuts off, but it has Red Skull cutting off his own hand.
They
and
mention it later.
They mention they're looking for someone with one hand, but then they never.
He's got like a prosthetic. He's wearing a black glove on one hand.
Yeah, but you never like.
It's a
like,
Luke
I don't know.
Skywalker prosthetic.
Right.
So, yeah, which is dumb. It's stupid. Maybe Red Skull is one-handed in the comic, and I just didn't know that. I don't read.
Maybe that seems like a weird thing. Like if they're going for comic book accuracy, they go for him having one hand, but not him being German. That's just a really strange.
Yeah, so let's talk
choice,
about Red
but-
Skull for a second, and then we'll jump back into the modern-day plot, because we're going to breeze through this modern-day plot, because nothing happens.
Yeah.
So Red Skull, instead of being, because I know, so in the first Avenger, he's this German boy who, or he wasn't even a boy, he was a man who was experimented on. They give him the
Right.
super soldier serum to make him the perfect Nazi
Yeah,
soldier.
in I don't know about the comics, but in the first Avenger, he's the head of the Hydra's the Nazi science division, and which he is the head of. I don't know if he became the head before or after the Red Skull experiment, but clearly he was involved in some way that led to him being the one that got experimented on. Yada yada. He gets a Red Skull because it goes wrong. Because he's evil, is what they said in the first Avenger.
It's something like
they
that.
Don't say
like
anything.
it
brings.
I don't know if the Red Skull part was just like it was a side effect, but he's more evil now because it amplifies whatever you have.
I think the Red Skull part was because he was evil. Like it acts as like a reflection of who you are. Like because Steve Rogers, his soul, his heart was pure and strong. It made him pure, strong Chris Evans. But
well, I know that was a big
Johann
plot
shit
point
was
in like,
shit.
in like how they chose Steve Rogers for the experiment, because that's what the German doctor, because he was all like, we need somebody who is a good guy, who's whatever, because it's going to amplify what you feel. So if you're a bully, it'll make you more of a bully, but if you're a good guy,
Right.
it'll make you a better guy, whatever. But either way, it doesn't matter. In the comics, I read something about like he was Hitler's bellhop,
He worked at Hitler Hotel, and
Hitler
then...
was like, "Yeah, I want you to be my guy or whatever," and then he turns him into the Red Skull. In this,
Right.
he's an Italian boy.
Yes,
Who
he gets taken by presumably Mussolini's men.
guys, yeah.
Yeah, and then used for experiments in collusion with the Nazis.
Something like
early
that, bro.
Nazis at least, because it's like the 30s at this point.
Right.
The Nazis
We
are like
see,
just
yeah, we
barely
see
on the
swastikas
rise.
around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like because he is who he is, it's what he is, and he is it type beat.
Yeah.
I think that's a Kanye bar. I am what I am, and what I am is it, or something. Anyway.
Right, a lot of people have been asking what I would have done if I didn't win.
I guess we'll
I
never
guess we'll
know.
never know.
That's what Captain America said at the end of this movie.
Right. It's true.
But anyway, so like because he's this gifted kid, they want him, whatever. So they run this experiment on him. He turns into the Red Skull, and then we cut to the modern day. And what you should do if you're making a Captain America movie and Red Skull is your villain and you're in the modern day, is he should be trying to resurrect the Nazi Party in some capacity.
Right.
That's what any reasonable person would do writing this plot.
I mean, so what is he actually trying? I mean, he's trying to control the president. They established
Well,
that.
he's a mob boss, okay?
Yeah, but they don't explain any sort of connection between them.
Okay,
So they were
so
like, he's Italian, so they make him a mob boss. Sure, why not?
He says something when he's fighting Captain America before Captain America gets frozen in the ice, where he's like, I'm gonna be the president of the United States of America.
Right, and then he does say that later. It's like, yeah, it's every boy. I'm gonna achieve every boy's dream to be the president of the United States of America. Some stupid
Except
shit.
for he sounds like
yeah.
Dracula. I'm gonna be the president
I will be
of the
president of the
United
States of America. Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's so stupid. But anyway, so like that's kind of his goal. He wants to take over. He wants to take over the world, which is fine. It was stupid to make him Italian, though. You know?
Right. Do you think they just did that because they wanted to have him be like a Italian mob boss kind of character?
My theory, and you didn't agree with me, I think that at least that part of this movie, the Italian mob boss portion of this movie, was not written for this film. I think it was written for something else, and then they were like, oh, 21st Century Schizoid Studios or whatever,
right?
Was like,
century Schizoid
we got the rights to
yeah.
Captain America. We're making a Captain America movie. Hey, what's that thing on the bottom of your desk that script nobody's read since the 1940s? Let's turn that into a Captain America movie. That's my theory. At least the villain plot.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like there's just not enough that feels like that. Like,
I don't know. They never explain how he got to the future. He just exists in the future. He's a mob boss. He doesn't do anything inherently Red Skull except for try to put a chip in the president's brain.
Yeah, he tries to control the president, and
his name is not the Red Skull's name whatsoever.
Yeah, they only say it once. It's like Diana Poopa something. It's some Italian sounding gibberish.
And so that's...
Sorry if you're Italian and you got a gibberish name. My fault.
Mario Brothers or whatever.
Right.
Mario
type shit, you know?
But yeah, so it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, he's not the Red Skull. And that's fine. I don't really care either way. If you do something good, I don't care if you change something from the comic, right? Don't care at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just doesn't make, like, they didn't do something good. They did something really dumb, which makes me think it was for like a different generic action movie, like a Die Hard or whatever.
It could be like, but I just feel like there's just not enough. Like, it'd just be a very strange choice. Although this movie is riddled with strange choices.
Right.
So who knows?
It's like they didn't want to hire a writer to come in and write stuff for the villain, so they just the director's just scrambling around at his table.
What villain can we find of these fucking rejected garbage scripts?
Although finest script that what's his face has ever read. So
right, true.
Maybe that was changed. Maybe that was one of the things that was changed in reshoots, because apparently this movie was riddled with reshoots for like 2 years. Stan Lee said it was awesome, which he's a liar.
Said
notorious
the
liar.
audience gave it like a standing ovation at the like first like test screening premiere, whatever.
But Stan Lee's a liar.
I don't believe a word out of his mouth. God rest his soul.
Stan Lee also said that TASM 2, he was like, this is the greatest Spider-Man film yet, Excelsior! And it's
Excelsior, super fans!
Excelsior, this is the best
greatest
one!
script I've ever read!
This is the best Spider-Man movie we've ever seen! And then it's the worst one, type beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... Where were we? So that could be the Red Skull stuff. Could be a result of reshoots. It could be a result of it being from another script. It could just be that they did this on purpose, which I don't get.
A result of, stupid 90s filmmaking decision. It happens. Late 80s, 90s was a weird time, you know?
Right.
Shit happens.
It's almost like
this
character's popularity is tied to something.
Noting this is very early not just Marvel movies, but superhero movies in
For
general.
sure. I mean,
Um,
there were
like we talked about this in reference to the costume mostly, but there was basically only Superman and Batman.
there were two franchises. I don't know how
Yeah,
many Supermans there were at this point. I would assume at
at
least
least
3.
two. I was
I
gonna,
know
yeah,
there were
maybe,
2 cuz it was
yeah,
'77
yeah,
and then I
probably the
think like
first
80.
three. Yeah, it was, yeah, 70, 78, then 80, 81 maybe.
Right. They were
Um,
probably all out. All 4 of the original
yeah,
ones.
good chance. Yeah, I can't, I don't know when fucking Quest for Shit came out, but
And then there was 89, Batman 89. Howard the Duck was out at this point.
Howard the Duck, the the first and only theatrically released Marvel movie at this point was Howard the Duck.
Right, until Blade.
Um, until Blade, which is
Howard the
wild.
Duck and Blade, which we might be watching as part of the sweep. So stay
Yeah, I'd
tuned.
love to watch Blade.
I would love to watch Howard
It
the
goes
Duck.
crazy. Yeah, we're definitely watching that one.
But anyway, so
But
I've seen Howard the Duck actually.
I've not seen Howard the
So
Duck. I've seen
so
Blade though.
there's not a template yet. Number one, there's not a template for how to make these movies because Spider-Man hasn't come
Right.
out yet, and Spider-Man set the template of how do you make a fun
Yeah,
comic book movie.
Spider-Man the Blueprint.
Right. X-Men was out before Spider-Man, and it was kind of fun-ish, right?
It was solid.
It lent more
It
into
established
the
some stuff. It
movie,
did.
less into the comic
Yeah.
book. Superman's the same way. Sort of lent more into the.
Superman, I'll
Well,
say
we'll flip
figured
that.
it out pretty
Superman
early.
went more into the comic book, less into the movie. Batman
Right.
89 is
Batman went
just its
more into the
own weird thing.
movie, less of the, yeah.
Right? It's its own thing entirely.
Yeah, and it's
This
cracked, and I love
movie
it for that.
doesn't know the balance. It has no
Yeah.
idea what it wants to be. It doesn't know how to adapt a comic book movie. And so what we get instead of cool comic book Captain America stuff is we get Captain America running around the woods in Alaska.
In just the worst piece of filmmaking ever, probably.
Yes, it's horrible. He's running around the woods. He finally gets in the car of the kid from the beginning of the movie's friend, who is now the president of the United States. I don't know if we mentioned that. We see that in a montage.
Yeah, so
Montage.
yeah, the kid. So real quick, we should mention, in the past, kid takes the picture, then goes to talk to his chubby little friend with really big stupid glasses that he presumably keeps until he's an old man. And he's like showing him this horrible picture that's somehow a perfect picture of Captain America, and he's like, "Do you know who this superhero is?" He's like, "Oh, he's not on fire, so it can't be the Human Torch. He doesn't have a trident, so it can't be not Namor, whoever the fuck they said. And it must be someone."
It must be
And then-
codename Captain America.
Right.
Its codename is Captain
Um,
America. No, it's dumb.
But yeah, so that kid, it shows in the, like, it's showing like the timeline of this kid. Like, it shows him, he runs for senator, he or it's like he graduates top of his class, runs for senator, runs for Congress, becomes president, yada yada, as it's showing like up till the 90s. Then it's
1990 specifically.
yeah, then it has his little friend with the big dumb glasses.
Oh, wait.
Oh, right, yeah, his friend he sucks on a pencil. And
It looks disgusting. It looks horribly disgusting.
yeah,
Anyway.
and he does it for the whole scene where he's like reading some file on codename Captain America that presumably his friend the president sent him. He's like, hey, remember that guy I saw on the missile that kicked the missile and saved me? This is him. I'm the president. You're my friend.
No.
Here are these confidential files I can give to you because you were my buddy as a kid, and I'm the president of the United States of America, Jimmy Carter.
No, he does look like Jimmy Carter. Also, I'm from
Yeah.
RoboCop. Anyway,
Right.
This is the best script I've
I
ever
made
read.
the cop Robo. I roboed the cop.
All right, so I'm gonna kind of rapid fire through the rest of this movie up
Go
until
for
like
it.
the climax, and here's why. I'm going to do this because we have spent more time explaining the first little bit of this movie than actually happens.
Then the movie itself.
Right.
Yeah.
So Captain America, he's in Alaska. He's running around. He's doing his Captain America thing, right? He's Captain Americaing all over the place. He runs up to kind of. He's wearing the costume.
Yeah, in the most minimal way possible, he is Captain America-ing.
He runs up to the car of Jimmy Carter's friend, and he's like, "Hey, why should I trust you?" And this guy's like, "What's the year 1990, bruh? So it's 1990. You're not from the 40s anymore."
He says, "I'm on a mission from the president,"
which no one
you
would
have
believe.
To come with me.
And so rightfully so, Captain America doesn't believe him. So he says, "Can you pull over the car? I'm gonna be sick." So this guy pulls over the car. Captain America,
classic
Steve Rogers,
move.
in his classic move, gets out of the car and walks away to pretend like he's gonna vomit. This man walks up to him and is like, "Hey bud, you okay?" And then Captain America turns around and sprints back to the car, gets in and drives away. Steals this man's car, even though he had never driven an automatic in his life.
Yeah.
And he drives this little Nissan Frontier all the way to California. He drives this car from Alaska
to California.
I don't know what gas mileage Nissan Frontiers were getting in the 1940s, but Captain America did not have any money. So, whatever. So, he drives over there.
I don't know geography. Can you get does Alaska doesn't connect to the? Does it? I thought you do you not have to go?
You have to go through Canada. Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like how don't
but
you?
There are roads.
You need like a. But when you need like a passport,
I don't know. Pre 9/11.
I guess that's facts. I
9/11.
forget about 9/11.
He's probably
forgot about 9/11.
So he drives all the way to his ex-girlfriend's house, and then his ex-girlfriend's daughter,
Barney.
Sharon, whose name is Sharon.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, I don't know when Sharon Carter was invented in the comic books. I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff.
I don't care.
Not a nerd. Maybe that was a reference to this. Maybe this is a reference to that. I don't know. We don't know what her last name is because they never say.
Maybe it's just a coincidence. Yeah.
But anyway, so and then Captain America sees Sharon, and he starts naming.
And he grabs her.
Like, Barney.
Barney! Oh my God, Barney! I've missed you so much.
To which she
my lady,
beats him.
She's like, "Who the fuck are you? Get off of me!"
Punches him in the face. He passes out because this is the worst Captain America in history.
I don't think he doesn't pass out.
No, but he falls to the ground.
She's just she shoves him off, and he falls. He stumbles backwards and falls over, and then old lady makeup and real old man walk out of the house.
And there it is.
She's like, "Oh my God, Steve!"
Marnie. She's like, "Oh, Steve, is that you?
Oh my God, Steve, you look exactly the same.
You haven't aged a day, and here I am, this old ugly woman.
You haven't aged a day, and neither have I. But they put me in this horrible old lady makeup."
Yeah, and she talks about that. She's like, "Oh, I'm so ugly, and you look the same." And he's like, "No, you're beautiful because I'm attracted to old women."
You look the same.
And then she gets shot.
Yeah. Oh well. Wait. There's a really funny scene of him doing the math of how much time she waited. So she's like, I waited for you until I
was 38 years old.
Yeah.
And then he looks.
Wait. You waited for me for 16 years. It's so fucking funny.
Which also 16 years, yes, that's a long time to wait someone. In the grand scheme of how long it's been since you've been in the ice, not that long.
But also, that's an
a really
long amount of time to wait for someone. Yeah, I can understand the reaction.
It's just him doing the math was funny.
Yeah, it was a very funny scene.
And so then she gets shot because Red Skull's daughters are there. They shoot her and then shoot her husband.
They shoot and kill her. Shoot and wound, as far as we know, her husband. They never go back to him or establish anything with him. It's just maybe he survives because he was alive. Kind of.
This launches us into the plot of the movie, the main plot. But nothing happens for the next 20 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes. Nothing happens because the next 30 minutes is Captain America watching some MLK clips, and then him and Sharon deciding that they're going to go on an adventure to find Red Skull and get payback for what he did to Sharon. Right? So not Sharon, not Peggy Carter.
Barney Carter.
Barney Carter.
Wife of Jimmy.
Wife of Jimmy Carter.
Not related. No relation to the president.
Right. So they go on this adventure. Turns out Red Skull has kidnapped the president to implant in his brain a mind control chip.
Control chip, yeah.
So they go to Italy, and then this is where the finale of the movie happens. There's some stuff that happens. Captain America tricks Sharon in the same way with I'm pretending to be sick and stealing the car.
Yeah.
We never see the friend again. We never see friend sucking on a pencil ever again. In the finale,
it establishes that he dies, doesn't it? Because there was that line where he says that to the president.
yes,
He's like, "Yeah,
Captain
your
America's
friend's dead.
with him
Sorry."
when he dies. Yeah, Captain America
Yeah,
goes to
I don't
see
remember.
him to
I don't
find
remember.
Red Skull.
Right.
And then he gets shot.
At some point before going to Italy, he goes back to the lab
Right.
underneath the diner
To find a diary
from
the
diary
doctor.
from the Italian doctor lady,
Right.
not German earskin.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now they're in Italy. We're in Italy now. The trick happens, whatever. We're at Red Skull's base, which admittedly is a pretty cool set.
It's cool. It's like, yeah, it's like supposed to be some like
It's like a
abandoned,
Coliseum type.
something, some old Italian building. They all
Right.
look cool.
Yeah,
you
super
know?
cool. He's there. He's got the president. Captain America runs up to the president and he's like, "I've got you, Mr. President. We're going to escape." And then the president's like,
there's a cool, stupid shot of Captain America just scaling the side of this weird building wall,
which is not bad. For 1990, that's not bad.
it was fun. It was just silly looking.
Captain America gets in there with this kid, and he looks at the kid, and the kid's like, "Oh, it's you," or not the kid. He's the president of the United States.
Right? He's an old man at this point.
And the president's like, "It's you. You're the guy on the rocket that I saw as a kid." And he pulls out a picture he's kept in his wallet all of these years.
Right.
And then Captain America says,
Captain America's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you got that good a picture of me."
No, he says, "You were the little boy?"
Right.
As if he could have seen this little kid from the top of a rocket.
Which admittedly is just as feasible as the little kid seeing him.
Or getting the
Both
picture.
of which is zero. Yeah.
The camera had a zoom lens on it. He could have zoomed in, but him getting a picture of a moving rocket.
But he was on the other side
Correct.
more than anything else.
Right, correct. Anyway, so then the last fight of the movie happens with Red Skull. There's one scene where, I am not kidding, over the course of one, maybe at most 2 seconds, the camera cuts 16 times. We put it in slow-mo to watch it.
16 times, half of which were just a single shot of Captain America, like, doing a 360
He was just turning around.
Like, he just
It wasn't
spun
even like a
around.
cool
Like,
360 kick, whatever. He was literally turning
he just
around.
turned around to end up facing the same direction.
To turn around and throw his shield at Roger Moore, maybe?
Well, I think he threw the shield. That's what started it, because the guy
And then
pulled
he
out
kept turning?
Roger Moore.
No, it was a build-up.
Roger Moore pulled out the gun to shoot the president.
Right.
He threw the shield, hit Roger Moore's gun hand, spun around after throwing the shield. That it starts cutting like crazy. Spun around, I guess, to do his cool spin before catching the shield.
Who knows? Who knows what this was like in the script that was the greatest script
yeah.
that George Cox ever read.
Right, got a standing ovation from Stanley Lieberly.
So then he starts punching Red Skull, whatever. Red Skull walks up to a piano, which he doesn't play, which is super disappointing.
Red
Red Skull's got a bomb. And he says, "Did you really think that if you were going to beat me, that I wasn't going to blow
think I wouldn't have a bomb? I do not care if I die.
I have lived for a very long time.
I am Dracula.
I am
I cannot
86
die.
years old," which he probably is. He's probably like he's got to be like 90, right?
Yeah, he'd be up there because he was like a kid in the
Yeah.
30s.
Well, he was as old as Captain America, so he should be at least as old as Peggy Carter.
Call him, yeah, late high 70s at the earliest.
Right, at the earliest. Anyway.
Yeah, because he could have been late 20s.
He's ready to
and
die.
50
He's a
years,
mob boss. He's failed in his task to take over the president's brain. Captain America does something stupid where he like plays a clip of him being found as a kid.
Yeah, it was they established when they first went to Italy, they went to his old home that they found in the doctor lady's notes, and then they found an old radio, and then they recorded something from the radio that was a recording of him being taken. Which
why would they have that?
How did a 30s radio record
Bro,
the thing of them being taken? But yeah, but then it's I guess a bait and switch because it's not. It doesn't really defeat him. He just
No,
like
they make it seem like, oh, this is how they're gonna, and this is where I was like, come on,
it's like, oh,
are you really
this
gonna
is
do
lame.
this? This
Sentimental
sucks.
ending to beat
I'm like,
Red
throw
Skull.
him
Blah
off the
blah
ledge of
blah.
this thing,
Yeah, no,
whatever.
you said that, and
And then they did it, and it was
and
awesome.
then he just does that, and it's awesome, and it's the stupidest shot of just a dummy
Oh,
just
yes.
tumbling down a cliff.
And it holds on it for so long. He hits like each individual
No,
part of this clip.
it shows the full clip of this dummy just falling down this actual cliff until it goes into the water.
Right.
It
And
is it
doesn't
is
splash because it's made of paper. Like it just like
yeah, it's paper
floats.
mache. Yeah,
And then the shield comes back and hits the Red Skull's daughter, and then it cuts to a freeze frame of Captain America,
yeah. And we're
and
like, oh,
then
is it gonna end on this freeze frame?
it cuts to a different
cuts
freeze
to
frame,
yeah.
which
And then that
crossfades
fades
into an
into
image, like a drawn
yeah, like a
image.
drawing of the same image. Yeah, and then that's what the credits
And
roll
then that's what the
over.
credits roll over.
That's it. That's all. That's all
That's
she
Captain
wrote.
America 1990. They never made a
Yeah.
sequel. I doubt they ever
Thank
even
God.
talked about it.
Yeah, no. I think that was the last thing on their minds when like after making this movie. They were just trying to get it out, and even that took like 5 years more.
There's this certain, I don't know, like mystique around unreleased comic book movies, right? You got like the Justice League
Yeah,
Mortals, you
yeah.
got the James Cameron Spider-Man, all of these just unreleased comic book movies. There was another Batman and Superman World's Finest movie that got canceled. J.J.
Right.
Abrams
Your
Superman
Lives,
movie.
your Superman Flyby,
Right.
all these
All of these
shit.
like just like mystique, like, oh, what could have
Hmm.
been, all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're
This is what could have
probably
been.
they're probably
This
better
is
off not being made.
yeah.
Especially, and I want to say this, especially James Cameron's Spider-Man. Yes, I love the Raimi Spider-Man
I
movies.
don't
Yes,
know
I'm
much about that
nostalgic.
one.
The reason I say that is the first Raimi Spider-Man movie, it took Sam Raimi to figure out how to make comic book movies both good and fun. It took
Right.
him. Everything, like everything. Every good comic book movie to come out has taken some kind of inspiration from those first two Raimi Spider-Man movies, right? If not directly, tonally,
I won't
or
say I wouldn't fully say that because like I will say he was the first one to find the perfect mix. Like we said before, I don't know if that was on the recording or
yes, it
not,
was.
but yeah, like he was the first one to find the perfect mix. I don't think he was the first one to make a good and
No,
fun
no,
comic book superhero
no. I'm not
movie.
saying that he was the first, because I think Blade is good. I think X-Men is good. I think Superman
Right.
76 is good. Batman 89. Raimi was the one who
Just keep
figured
getting
out.
lower with when that Superman movie came out.
What did I say?
You said 77 earlier, then you just said 76.
Oh, who
It
cares?
was 78, I think.
Raimi was able to figure out how to make a fun comic booky type movie in a way that was also somewhat grounded, somewhat realistic, and worked and made sense. Every movie since has really been kind of riding off of Raimi's blueprint a bit. Maybe not fully.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. 100% Spider-Man '02 is the blueprint for modern current comic book movies.
This movie comes
And
out
everything since
14
then.
years later, same director, same script. It's probably better.
Yeah.
This movie suffered from not being released after Spider-Man. Or at
Right.
the very least X-Men or Blade or whatever. This movie suffered from being one of the first comic book movies tremendously because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to make a good origin story. They didn't know how to make the costume look cool and not goofy. They didn't know how to cast someone who actually can act. They didn't know how to make, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, we haven't talked about it much. We mentioned it a bit, but the Captain America actor just
sucks.
sounds, talks, and acts like a bitch.
He
he
sucks.
just
Even after he gets
yeah.
over polio.
Right. I'd say especially like
No,
'cause at
before he was over
he was-
polio,
he
I
was
was like,
okay.
I
He
buy
was-
this.
like all right, yeah.
No, he's the worst part of this movie, and that really hurts
And
the movie.
that's saying something. Yeah.
Because the Red Skull actor I like. I think he did a really good job.
He did okay.
He did a good
He looked
job.
cool more than
He
anything.
did a really good job playing Dracula as a mob
He
boss.
yeah, he did good with what they gave him.
Right. I liked him in this movie, even if I didn't like necessarily who this movie made the Red Skull.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't say I really care that much. He just like he wasn't really
He wasn't a good villain, but he was
he
doing
wasn't
a good
really
job
he didn't
playing
really
this bad
feel like
villain.
a yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face thing. Tommy
Right.
Lee Jones is
Right.
fun to watch as Two-Face, but that character doesn't make any sense and isn't very good. But
Yeah.
he's fun to
Yeah.
watch because it's him. That's how I felt about Red Skull. He's kind of chewing the
Right.
scenery. He's having a good time.
Yeah,
There's a lot
that's an
of
apt comparison, I'd say.
there's a lot of fun bad moments in this movie. Not as many as I would have liked. There's
Yeah.
the classic Captain America counting to see how long it's been, him
Right.
climbing up the
Classic
wall,
his classic stealing the car, pretending to
stealing the
get sick
car.
move.
The thumbs up he gives the president when he's like, "Mr. President,
Mm,
thanks," and just gives him the thumbs
yeah.
up. That's a good one. Like there are a lot of little good
The
funny
president
moments.
punching that Secret Service guy.
Right.
That whole dialogue is so funny. He's just the president just like he finds the Secret Service guy that betrayed him. He's like, "You're not gonna wiggle your way out of this one." Secret Service guy's just like, "Really?" He just punches him square in the fucking jaw.
There's a lot of
That's
those little
stupid.
moments, those good little moments, and
But
they're
yeah,
great.
but not
Not
nearly
as
enough of
many as
them
I
to
would
make it
like.
watchable.
This movie isn't as bad as a lot of the stuff we've seen, but it's also not
Yeah.
nearly as funny as some things that I've seen that are worse.
Right.
It's really
It's no Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
right. It's
You
no
know?
Daddy's Home or Daddy's Home
Well, no,
2.
not even close. I mean, come on, come on.
It's the worst thing a movie can be, right? It's Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Right. Yeah.
It's not so, and that really is truly the worst thing a movie can be is boring.
Yeah.
There's a few good things sprinkled throughout. I'm glad I've seen it. I had already seen it. I'm glad I've seen it now as an adult.
Yeah, I had not seen it, and I will say I'm kind of glad I saw it. I started out very pessimistic. I asked numerous times to watch something else, to which Dalton just ignored me and laughed in my face.
Right.
But I'm grateful for that because I not to say I had a good time watching this, because I never have a good time doing this. This sucks. I'm miserable. Why do we do this? But
Why did we
it
start
was an
doing
e-
this again? We were
it was
free.
an-
We
it
were
was an
free.
ex-
We were free.
it
We
was
were free.
it was an experience that I'm grateful to have had so
The
that I can
first
not experience it again.
the first 30 minutes were fun. The last 15 minutes were
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
That's about
Up
45 minutes of this hour and a half movie.
about maybe 5 minutes every 20 minutes throughout the chunk of the movie were also fun.
And that's about 16 years. But yeah, next week I think Howard the Duck is on the list for next week.
Yeah, I know Howard the Duck and Tampa Punisher. I can't remember what the other one on there was, but I think we have
Fantastic
four.
Four 1990 actually is the
Right.
last one on the
Yeah,
list, which I'm excited for
94,
that
I think
one.
is the
Yeah,
movie.
the
Yeah,
90s
Roger
canceled.
Corman.
Yes, I love a good Roger Corman flick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's gonna be fun. But yeah, so that's probably gonna do it for this episode of the podcast. If you got any suggestions for sweeps you want us to try out, go ahead and let us know.
Yup.
Nobody's watching this, so that doesn't matter at
Nope.
all. But I said it.
Now they'll see this eventually. Once we get that algorithm pumping, we gonna have
Right.
them clickbait Mr. Beast new Rockstar thumbnails.
Right.
What was he cooking?
Right.
We're good.
But yeah, Marvel sweep, pre-MCU Marvel sweep, off of the
Yeah,
bang. I
yeah.
liked this. I didn't love it. Don't watch this. Watch First Avenger instead.
No,
You'll have a much better
yeah.
time watching that movie.
Yeah,
but we'll
watch
see
Spider-Man
you
2.
next time on Semi Pro.
That's Trailer Park Life. Oh. Oh. Bad and bougie. What is it? Savage, ruthless. They gotta go rock piss. Ugh.